Hello guys, welcome back to our investing channel. We are here today to discuss this incredible future evaluation of Bitcoin of $140,000. This incredible evaluation has been estimated not from myself but from a white paper written by ARK Invest. I will leave down below in the description the link to the original document so you can go deeper in detail. But here today in the video we are going to discuss about the four main points that according to this document could make Bitcoin reaching this incredible evaluation, and at the end I will give as well my opinion about some risks that are not in this document, but it's something that according to me we should consider. It was March 2010 when two pizzas of a total worth of $25 have been bought using 10,000 Bitcoin, something that today could be worth something around $10 million. In fact, even if the media has declared Bitcoin dead more than 400 times in those 10 years, this kind of asset is the one that has best performed the last 10 years. According to the chart, we can see that in the last 7 years we have had a 90% yearly return, in the last 6 years 70% yearly return, last 5 years 119%, and so on. And even if in the last 3 years we have just 35, 29, 22, is still a huge growth and is more faster than other normal assets. But this huge growth is not going to finish. In fact, still according to ARK Invest and their chart, we can see that because of the 4 points that we are shortly going to discuss, the evaluation of Bitcoin could reach $140,000. But what are those 4 main reasons that will make Bitcoin to reach this evaluation? Let's start the video and going straight to the point. Point number 1 is to have Bitcoin as a global settlement network. In fact, the Bitcoin network is already global and it can already make 2 different persons, 2 different banks, institutions to speak together, to make together some transaction. Something is already there and it's called real-time gross settlement and is managed from Federal Reserve. So it's always something that you have someone in the middle of those 2 banks that want to make some operation. With Bitcoin we have no one in the middle. They can do the operation fast, immediately, and with an irrevocable operation. Just in the US, deposit totaling 14.7 trillion generate 1.3 quadrillion in settlement volumes between and among banks each year. So according to the chart, if Bitcoin take just 5% of those settlements, its value would be likely around $40,000, but if it takes 10% of those settlements, then its value would be more than $70,000. Point number 2 is to consider Bitcoin as a protection against the seizure of assets. In fact, as its characteristics, Bitcoins give you the ownership of your own money. So in all those jurisdictions where property rights are not recognized or enforced, would be really useful to have something like Bitcoin, like cryptocurrency. In this way, if we allocate a part of our money in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, then would approximate the probability that a corrupt or misguided regime will confiscate our own money. And again, according to the chart, if we have the 5% probability that Bitcoin would be used in this kind of situation, then its price could reach something between $100,000 $150,000, or if the probability is 10%, then the value would be something like $250,000. Point number 3, maybe this one is the one that is more likely to happen, is the possibility to consider Bitcoin as the next digital gold. So gold has been a really useful asset in the history and has been working for a long time and still today is one of our principal assets to use when we come to investing, when we build a portfolio, and every time we want to save our money from, for example, inflation. But Bitcoin is not just as gold, but in many ways it is better than gold. Because it's not just scarce and durable as gold, but it's also divisible, verifiable, portable, and transferable. And all those characteristics make Bitcoin really not centralized at all. In this case, according to the chart, we have if Bitcoin takes 5% of the total market of gold, then its value could reach something around $20,000, $25,000, or with the 10% size of the gold market could reach $40,000 till $45,000. Point number 4, let's think Bitcoin as a possible catalyst for currency demonetization in emerging market. We all know how much important is inflation and how big it could be in emerging market. Let's think, for example, about Argentina. In Argentina, we have a double-digit inflation still today, and the whole money could become worthless in a short time. But even in our country, let's think Europe or US, we have something like, for example, quantitative easing, so our money will become worth less and less day over day. In this light, Bitcoin could really work as worth keeping. So it's not something that is affected by inflation, and it could really be the one that is going to save our money. We all know that the majority of exchange today in the world use some fiat currency as US dollar, yen, yuan, or euro. But even if Bitcoin takes just 5% of total exchange apart the main fiat currency, then its value could suddenly reach $60,000, and if it takes 10% of those exchange, its worth could be $120,000. So Bitcoin could be really a strategic asset for the next future, and as I said at the beginning, its worth in the next 5 or 10 years could be $140,000. That is much higher than today's evaluation. But which is the risk that is not written in this white paper? The risk, according to me, is that all those 4 points are absolutely right, and it's something that we need to solve. So we really need something that solves those kind of problems. But how can we be sure that this something would be Bitcoin? Maybe could be some other cryptocurrency. For sure, Bitcoin is the main one, so it's really possible that Bitcoin is the one that will go to solve those problems, but we are not sure about it. And on top of it, we already know that the central bank, the Fed and the European Central Bank are already working to create their own cryptocurrency. So will be a huge fight in the next future. We can see what will happen, and for sure we can still think that those 4 points is something that we need to keep in mind, we need to estimate and evaluate, but we need to be sure that is Bitcoin the one that is going to solve those problems. At the end, let me know your thought down below in the comment. If you agree with those 4 points, or if you disagree, if you have already invested or actually are trying to speculate on Bitcoin, or if you want to stay away from this kind of speculation. Don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video.